What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the single player Let's Play series. So, of course, I'm back to recording in real time, so again, I do apologize for kind of going through that. But, as you can see, there's a little bit of an interesting progression going on in our world. We have come to the point where our flux is actually doing stuff. I don't know why it took so dang long, but it did. So we have this giant flux rift, and now we've got a couple of tainted areas that are really bad. So I'm just going to make sure that I kind of passively keep an eye on this, but in the meantime, I actually got some really good research topics handled that popped up earlier. I don't remember what they were specifically, but they seemed pretty big. So I will take a look at them at some point, and you can see we're getting a lot of these different taint wood logs around. That's creepy. So yeah, just gonna kind of idly keep an eye on that. Not super worried about it right now. So, Ender Chest, the vanilla one. No one really thinks too much about it. It's not all that interesting, but there is this new button inside of it, and that is for Enchantability, which allows you to assign a couple of enchanted books to your player. So, in fact, I'm actually going to grab my Silk Touch pick and move this upstairs, right next to all my enchanting table and my enchanted books and stuff, just because it makes more sense there. And so we can pick out a couple of different ones. I don't believe that multi-enchant books will work. Yeah, see? So it has to be just the one enchantment. And I'm going to go pull up the list real quick and see what exactly the enchantments are, like what the effects of them are and how they apply. Okay, so taking a look real quick at the Enchantability Curseforge page, I do kind of want to take a moment from this. We can see Blast Protection is a percentage chance to prevent explosions of blocks where the player was affected. So, let's see. Blast Protection 4, the explosion causes no block damage. Efficiency increases the output of manual crafting items which are effective specified in the configs, like item stacks and stuff. Yeah, I haven't changed that at all. Void through the end will put you back in the overworld with infinity. Regeneration during the day when you look at the sun. Weakness at night during all times. Deflects arrows shot and partially reduces the damage. Increases mining speed with the empty hand. Silk Touch prevents animals from getting hit. Feather Falling gives slow falling. Frostwalker allows walking on air. When enchanted, simply sneak in midair to start walking. Frostwalker 1 is unstable, so be careful when using it over the void. Interesting. Smite creates lightning when hitting mobs with the sword. Tear of Smite reflected the tear of the sword. So this is very interesting. Given this list here, I'm thinking probably efficiency, infinity maybe just to be safe, looting, and I think that's it. I don't really do a lot of manual smelting. So we said infinity. Oh, we wanted efficiency. We also wanted looting, though. Where is looting? Surely I have it somewhere. So it looks like I don't. Oh well, we'll start with those two for now. So if we put these in here, you'll see infinity and efficiency 5. Let's go give this a try. So I think this specifically works with wood. I think is one of the items in particular that it works with. I'm pretty sure. And so I think the way it works, maybe it's not wood, maybe it's sticks. So eventually we should get some sort of efficiency. There we go. So you see we actually got a couple of extra there. We're getting quite a few now. It was just some luck, I guess. So yeah, there we go. Now a couple of the things that we craft will be even more efficient, even though you know, they may or may not be particularly rare. It's still nice. Let's consider another place to go. Another thing to do. We have plenty of diamonds, so there's no reason not to. Put that block back. And just come through here. Cool. I'm going to swap out my armor with this guy. So that's going to kind of put me back into the normal zone. And then furthermore, I'm going to swap out my tools, for the most part, with these again. Now, I am going to put these tools in my bag just because I needed them to get out and stuff. So the idea is that I'm going to go with slightly simpler stuff that I've already had. And then once we get in there, I'll kind of upgrade through the tiers that were given by the game, or by the game's progression at that point. So we're just going to kind of run around and play this like it's meant to be played. Holy crap, what is going on with this dude? That was intense. That was absolutely insane. Here, another one of these guys up here. Definitely not looking forward to him. There we go. These changed quite a lot, these rooms. I'm okay with that. They're just a lot harder now. I'm just going to trust this trap chest. I don't really care. I guess we'll refill. So I'm going to run around here, and we're going to kind of get some of the stuff together. So what we need, if we go take a look at the advancement screen, we can actually walk through the process that we're going to need to follow. Let's see, Twilight Forest. So we have the Silence of the Forest, and the Twilight Forest mod is heavily advancement based, so it's very cool that it's done that way. So our next path is to fire, let's see, so Raven Feather, Glowstone Dust, and Torchberries. So that'll be our next step, I guess, is to find some Glowstone Dust. We've apparently already gotten Torchberries. I'd like to find some Glowstone Dust, hopefully, but we may not. I don't actually know. And there we go. Glowstone is right there. That was a perfect aim. Okay, so that was step one, is to create one of these. Magic map focus. Name. So now I should be able to make ourselves a magic map using this. So that gets us a blank magic map. Of course, right-clicking on it will activate it. And with that, we can see the further we head this way, we're going to start to run into a Lich's Tower. Alright, so here we are at a Naga maze, and there is our Naga. So the way to take this down is to just hit it. Pretty straightforward. And there we go. So we were able to take that guy out pretty easily. You also get an okay chunk of experience from it. And this has revealed to me a pretty decent selection of wood that I'm going to grab real quick. So, we got a shader bag, a fixed shader, a trophy, and then we got Naga scales. So with the Naga scales, you're going to need enough to make the chest plate and the leggings, because that is all there is for a Naga scale. So, unfortunately, that means we need to find and kill another one. That wasn't that bad, though. As you saw, we were decently well enough prepared for it that that wasn't an issue. But what comes next is, indeed, that crafting of all of those. But now that we have, we can also go and check out the Lich if we wanted to, but I think we'd be better suited, because as you noticed, our armor actually did go up by half a notch, and if we get that other piece, it'll go up even more. So yeah, pretty interesting, but again, it's kind of boring to me at this point. And I hate to say it. It was really cool when the update came out, but between the fact that it is indeed so laggy, and a couple of other factors that just kind of made it substantially less interesting to me, I suppose. A lot of druid houses now. That's kind of interesting. Alright, so now that that's all said and done, I'm going to swap out my armor, and I'm going to double swap out that chest plate, just because we will store that somewhere else. I think for the rest of this episode, we should put together a proper farm. Just something that can get us... we should have plenty of stone. Yep. Just something that can get us by with some decent blocks. So we're going to make some stone brick walls. And we're going to make some fences. We're going to use some fences. We already have made fences. We actually want to make some fence gate, though. So fence gate. And That might be enough. So I'm going to make a couple of farms out here, and we're going to have to occupy them, of course, but that should not be too terribly difficult. Occupying them shouldn't be the worst. And if we put them over here in this area where it's kind of showing green, they're going to automatically start to farm themselves, so that's why I've chosen this area. Okay, so we want to get some animals, so we're going to grab some wheat that I have accrued over the very long amounts of time. And so we're going to get some animals in here. Hopefully that's not going to be too difficult, but we will see. So I'm going to take the cows over here to this less covered one. That way if it snows and covers the grass, it won't prevent them from eating because they don't eat. This would be an issue if we were trying to do sheep. So that's why we're going to go for sheep in the other one, just because it's a little more covered by the trees. And so the upside of this is that we're not even going to need to use any sort of wheat for them, because you can see the little particle effects. They should be good. I think they might be at the range of, like, at the very end of the border here, but even then, anything at all is better than nothing. Oh, no, they're not. Never mind. I lied. There's a little particle right over there, right there. So I think we're actually better off than I thought we were. So now for sheep, we'll grab some sheep from somewhere. So now at some point we should see these two start to breed on their own. We're going to breed them manually for now just to help it out. Because I don't exactly know how long it's going to take. So I'm going to just kind of wait around and see what happens. So I'll be back if we happen to have any success. Alright, so I haven't had any luck over here. As you can see, we still have the same number of sheep. And this guy hasn't grown yet, so that's kind of fair. But I figured I could always accelerate the process a little bit. So I'm going to go and manually craft some items. And so to do so, I should have... Yes, there we go. I need to make a couple of golden lassos, which I believe are 8 experience. And so with that, we can come through here and craft these. So, I also grabbed a soul vial. It serves the same function. It's just I already had that, and I only had one that was empty, so I figured I would make some more. Because unfortunately, my other ones are being filled with some shulker ones. So we can just kind of come through here and grab a few different cows. Because you do have to consider that the chances are always going to increase as you add more mobs to it. So... definitely worth considering that as we go through and try to expand this out to be sort of a relatively automated, passive, free-to-us farm. Interesting. So as I was breeding, I've actually gotten some spirits of birthing, which can be used to create more mobs, it looks like. That's particularly interesting. Looks like there's a lot of cool things you can do with that. Also seems like that could potentially cause some balance issues, but that's fine. I've been doing this by hand just to further increase the population, because it does seem like we're pretty restricted on our count of sheep here in the area. So, but evidently I have an ulterior motive to do this, which is fine by me. So, I'm gonna just go ahead and toss these in here, because I don't need them. But, yeah, it looks like there's not a lot that you can't continue to spawn more of. And this could be used, I'm sure, to recapture them in some form of either soul vial or probably just a soul vial would be the most useful, to be honest. Because with the soul vial, you should, in theory, be able to respawn as many of them as you'd like. Alright, so now that I've taken a little break and I've gotten some things cleared up, I kind of wanted to point out a couple of things that we're having issues with. So, I've been noticing some lag around the area, and a couple of the causes are over here and are over just the general usage of these wires is not exactly great. And then I noticed that the Ender IO conduits over here were also causing lag. So I'm gonna spend the rest of the episode kind of posing alternatives, and it's not that any of these mods in particular are bad, it's just that in combination with this world being so busy and all these things clustered together in just a few chunks, as you can see there's not really a lot of space in between these areas. There's definitely a lot going on here, which I'm proud to say, you know, we've gotten a lot going on. But yeah, this particular area is pretty bad. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a couple of shulker boxes. Alright, so the white means that when you throw something, like you can right-click to add an item into there, which I think is a pretty cool feature. So we've got these capacitor banks and a couple of things that we're not going to need, but I'm just going to start storing stuff in a shulker box over here. So I'm going to move all this stuff over to the Twilight Forest. It seemed like a good place to put it since it is a natural item after all. So we're just going to move all of this over there, and we're going to get power there using an interesting method. Not unlike anything you've already seen, but still just one of those things that I have not yet used a lot in this Let's Play. I've used it some, just not a whole ton. Okay, so I'm done rebuilding the house, and this is the part where we're going to get back into some stuff that I need to get to. So we've been using immersive engineering wires for everything for so long now. It's about time that we actually start using a proper power cell. And so we can start with these. I think we've already used them in the past. So we just need to kind of get to them and start using them. So that also means I need to find where my last power cell is. Here we go. So here's power cell that's pretty empty, and I don't actually remember where the output for this goes to. Yep, that's right. I forgot. So this one is for the farm down here. There's a power cell underneath. See? I completely forgot about that, and that also is why it is so low, is because I recently broke that. For testing. Trying to figure out some of the lag sources, and I think we've got it mostly pinned down. You can already probably notice that the FPS is a little more constant. We still have dips, like right now I'm at 32. I should pretty much always be at 60, so that's still bothersome. My machine should be more than powerful enough, but it's for some reason not still. But whatever. So we're going to go ahead and get into another power cell. We should probably make a pair of them, actually, because I want this to be directly hooked to our power setup, not just as that output that you saw was more of a I want it to be throttled on power. I don't want it to go suck up all my power at once. So that's actually how I want that to be. And then we're going to make 2 of these power cell link cards. And then we're going to come over here to the factory, I'm thinking. Unless we want to put this over here, which we could. Wouldn't hurt to have it maybe over here, but I don't actually know. We could. Yeah, let's just put it at the house, or at the here place. And what we're gonna do is I've not used this crafting station pretty much ever, so we'll put it right here so that it's easy to remember where it is. We'll make this an input power cell, and then we will link this guy to link ID 2, so that when I put this in here, it will also be link ID 2. So these 2 will be linked. I think we've discussed this in the past, but now those 2 will be linked, so that when I do come over here, we will be able to do a couple of things. Interesting, I didn't even get the little animation thingy. So we can now come over here and put this guy right here and set it to output mode. That's going to charge this, hopefully. It should, in theory, charge that. But it may be finicky about it. I don't actually know. No, that's definitely working. It's just outputting everything that it's getting, I think. LV, LV, yeah, I think that's it. So that should be working, and then to make sure that this area stays chunk loaded, we're going to put this down here as well. I'm going to set it to 3 chunks to be safe, just in case I built on some weird chunk border. We're going to do show lasers. Oh yeah, that's more than enough. Set down to 2. Yep, plenty. So we can hide lasers. And so now all that's left is to reconfigure these guys so that they actually work. Alright, so there we go. So that gets us moved. And so another one of the things that I had on my to-do list we'll get to next. And I think we should be done. So that leaves that finished. We've moved all of our processing out to there. We should still be getting everything through now. It just means that that's one less thing sitting here in our overworld causing a mess in some sense. We may start moving more stuff over to the Twilight Forest just because it is one of the few dimensions I actually have that isn't hostile, at least crazily hostile. So, Just a consideration. We're going to start moving to power cells a lot in the future. So, one of the other things that I had to fix or remove were over here across the way. Down here, I had to take all of these out of their systems. So we're going to have to reconfigure these now. So we're obviously still going to want to keep power in the bottom, but we still want to interface with them somehow. And since I'm no longer using Ender IO conduits, probably ever, just because I did notice they caused some lag. And again, every bit of lag right now is evidently problematic. This is what I get for being on a Mac, I guess. But, so yeah, since that is the case, we're going to go with this, and we're going to implement a different tile entity, which I'm perfectly fine with. I know it's not perfectly ideal, but it's what I want to go with. So we're going to do 8 phantom faces. So the phantom face, just the standard one here, this guy is actually not too bad, and if we want 8 of these, that means we're going to need 16, so 2 blocks of empowered diamantine will also do. And so if you recall, the empowered diamantine is not that bad. I think that's the worst part of this recipe. So what we need is diamantine. We already have some. We have enough of the other stuff to just make blocks of the other one. Alright, there we go. No, I don't want that to be placed. I want that with me. So now we should have everything we need to make 8 phantom faces. We just need to make some advanced coils. We don't actually have everything we need. If we need 8 times 4, it means we need half a stack of Restonia. And with half a stack of Restonia later, we should be good. So we need some blocks of Ender Pearl. And I think we should be good. Yep, there we go. Then I guess we need to start looking at the phantom, this thing, phantom connector. Alright, it's not that bad, so we just need to make some Eyes of Ender. And that gets us a phantom connector, and that's how we're going to connect our tile entities to each other. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to make this really easy and place these straight underneath where I want to actually set this up. So you can see that these have a range of 16. We're only going to be using a range of like 3. And I'm going to remove these blocks for my convenience, just so that I can reach. So we need to shift right click each one of these machines to this guy. So essentially, any item transactions we want to make will now need to be made to these blocks instead of being made to the furnace itself. Now, obviously, we can still do it to the furnace itself, but it's not necessarily what we want to do anymore. That's kind of the point of this, is to make it so that we don't need to do it that way. So I am going to grab some item ducts, grab some impulse ones as well. I'm try to make some more. And I think that should really pretty much be it. So the goal here is to be able to export on... We don't need that either, nor do we need this conduit facade. So the idea is that we want to be able to import on... Oh, and that means we're going to need a servo. We want to import from the light gray, light gray, light gray, and export to this guy. So we can actually really take advantage of this guy a lot, because we would never want to access the front of these, but now we can. So we could even you know, I hate to do it, but I'm going to drop these all down a block, because that flux duct is getting in the way. And we will have to do all that linking again, but that's okay. It's not that bad. Alright, so we'll relink all of these. That way I can have access to the front a little more easily and the top a little more easily. Because I'm going to drop the whole floor down a block. There. So now we can go ahead and do it this way instead. I like this a lot better. So this will be our receiving, or this will be our receiving technically, and this will be our sending to the processor. So we are going to do the following. Pretty straightforward, actually. And in fact, hang on, I'm going to make a couple more item ducts. I'm going to do something kind of interesting here. And mind you, what I'm about to do, I could do much easier if I just moved the phantom faces together. I'm lazy and I don't want to rebind these all again. So instead, I'm just going to waste some item ducts and do this. Why am I doing this, you may ask? Because I'm not actually doing that. I am going to do this. So now, each one of these pulverizers will be associated its own furnace specifically, and we won't have to deal with that. So what we have to do now is configure these guys to work the way we want them to. So we want them to input on the top and extract out the front. But, I guess you can't extract out of the front. I really thought that you could on these. Cool. Well then, I don't know anymore. Unless I wanted to do... I don't know. Alright, here's what last revision, I promise. And this will save on item ducts, so I guess that's okay. You've got to admit, phantom faces are fun. It's just, there's a lot of different ways to do them, and it makes it kind of interesting. So we can just do this instead. I'm still going to have the two associated with each other, but now what we can do is we can say, this should still be able to reach, I think. Yes, good. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll say insert on the top, extract on the bottom. And so now these will be inserting on the bottom and outputting on the top. And we can do, we have our cyan, cyan, cyan. We can just do this. Once again, we want these separated completely. And so now what we should have is everything should output automatically into that guy. Now the only thing left is I do need a servo. So let's grab one of those real quick. We'll just take this resonant one. It's not ideal, but it'll do. And do I have any clusters? Oof. I'm trying to think of things that get pulverized and then smelted. Well, how do you make silicon? Is that still smelted? Smelted quartz powder, which I think I can make one of these in a pulverizer. So we can just try it with quartz. I know it's kind of a waste, but whatever. I mean, we're making infinite, so what's the matter? So now I should be able to extract. And the idea is that when I extract from here, we'll have an empty blacklist. We want the stack size to be... Let's make it 8. Use metadata, use MBT. Well, we don't really care about that. We're going to do round robin. And what round robin is going to do is it should extract 8 at a time and split them evenly amongst these guys. And I have to set this to always active. So 8, 16, 16, 16. And then those should start traveling out and into this guy, I think. In theory. Oh, wait, is this recipe still an issue? No, that's not the issue. Uh-oh. Are these set to auto-extract? Yes, and so we're setting output on the bottom, auto-extraction. I did set these guys to input on the bottom. What's going on? Oh, I see the problem. Well, I see a problem. This is odd. This is problematic. I don't really know what to do. I'm going to test and see if it's not just this recipe for some reason by grabbing just a cluster from someplace, and then we'll see how it goes from there. I really don't understand why that's not working. That really should be working in my opinion. But what do I know? Okay, so that's not working. I'm just going to try to make some basic servos and see how that goes. In fact, I wonder if I can make... Yes, I'll take the better servo, just to see if that makes a difference. It really shouldn't, but it may just be weird. Maybe an item thing. Okay, well, that was it, I guess. Because that should be working now. And it is. It's just a matter of that. So now, when this outputs, this is also going to need a servo, isn't it? Or a retriever, optionally. Oof, that's very unfortunate. I really hoped that this would work out a little more cleanly. But okay, that's not that bad. How do you make a retriever again? I haven't actually made one of these in a long time. Okay, not that bad either. So the retriever should work if I put that here on empty. That should eventually pull. Yay. Okay, good. So that works. This is, again, another implementation of what we had before, just a little cleaner. Little less Ender IO, which means we didn't have to do that weird power conversion thing again. And this is it. This is all the space that it took. So I'm actually really pleased by how much more compact we've made this in turn. Flip side is we do have to deal with these lovely particle effects, but they're not that bad, and I think there is a thing for disabling them. I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head. So, with that, I think we can call that an episode. We've been pretty productive. I do hope you guys don't feel too bad about my decision on Twilight Forest. It's not very interesting anymore, in my opinion. But if you guys disagree or really have a cool challenge for me to try, let me know. I would love to give it a try, and until then, I will see you guys in the next one.